Campaign 2008, from the White House to the State House. Join us as the Illinois Channel connects you to the candidates, the conventions, and the issues that will determine America's future and the future of Illinois.
Next, Colleen Callahan launches her campaign as the Democratic candidate in the 18th Congressional District. The seat is now held by Republican Congressman Ray LaHood, who is retiring. This runs about 30 minutes.
Good afternoon. Earlier today at our home farm, I welcomed many and said that it is where we live and where we earn our living, and today where I announce my candidacy for Congress for the 18th Congressional District. The venue has changed this afternoon, but the purpose for the announcement has not. And so I stand here today with the full and complete support of my family, my husband Dick, my mom Elaine, and our daughter Brittany. People ask Colleen, why are you doing this? Why are you running? And it's a short answer: to help people. It's a Callahan philosophy. My dad always said, you come into this world with nothing and you leave with nothing. It's what you do in between that matters. And he certainly did his part. And my Grandpa Callahan did his part, serving as a state representative. My Uncle Gene Callahan, serving on staffs with Senator Simon and with Senator Dixon, whose grandson said to him one day, "Grandpa, tell me what you do, because my friends at school ask me and I don't really know what to say, so I just say you help people." What a compliment. And I hope to add my name to that legacy. And here's what makes me qualified: my roots and my wings. My roots in agriculture, where at a very young age, given responsibility to care for a litter of baby pigs or a baby calf, taught me that I was depended on, I was trusted, and I was expected to do my job. I had to be accountable, not only to those animals, but to my parents. And then my wings that took me to a 30-year broadcast career, where I educated and informed, where I communicated, and where I represented. I've been a voice when others felt that they didn't have one. And I've been a voice for many who believe their voices needed to be amplified. And I'll do the same in Washington, D.C. To everything there is a season. And this is the season for me to run for Congress. It's time. It's time for someone who has worn many hats. As a mom, as a daughter, as a wife, as an employee, as an employer, as one who has volunteered in her community, and one who has volunteered in her own profession. And with each one of those responsibilities comes experience. Real life, everyday, real world experience that you draw on for the next challenge that may come. Experience that will serve all of us well in Washington, D.C. So it's time. It's time to create change. It's time to refocus on middle-class values and needs, because our families fought for Social Security, for Medicare, for the GI Bill. And now here we are, standing here today, fighting to preserve them. It's time to do better. And it's time not just to listen, but it's time to act. It's time to change. It's time to change our economy that is teetering on a recession that's lost over 3 million jobs under this current administration. It's an economy where CEO salaries are 364 times the average work, and all of our incomes, the average men and women, 364 times what we earn. It's a time when a barrel of oil is now over $100 a barrel. It wasn't long ago we thought $30 was a lot to fill our vehicle. Now it's double that. Now it's $60. Gasoline at over $3, diesel fuel nearly $4. It's a time when our household debt has doubled since the year 2000. We have a predatory lending crisis. We have second mortgages on homes and lines of credits just to try and keep up. So it's time to change. It's time to change President Bush's Middle East policy that isn't working. The Middle East war has now lasted longer than World War II. We cannot continue to spend $10 billion a month on a war that seemingly has no end. I've been to Afghanistan and Iraq at my own expense. I've seen the pride of our servicemen and women. I've seen the work that they've done that they are so proud of. I've known, I do know, and I've met with families who have lost servicemen and women. And not only that, I've stayed in touch with those soldiers that I met. And I listen to the frustration that they share about this current policy. I've looked into the eyes in Afghanistan of Afghan women, 86% of whom are illiterate. I've looked into the eyes of the Afghan children, 25% of whom die before the age of 6. And I've seen the agricultural fields that produce the poppies that fund the Taliban. So it's time for change. It's time to change our healthcare system. A system that doesn't work for my 83-year-old mom, who works 4 days a week at Menards to supplement her income as a cashier to meet her supplemental insurance payments. But it's not just about my mom. It's about millions. 1.7 million people in Illinois who lack health insurance at all. And it's about an administration who blocked a law that would have allowed Medicare to negotiate lower drug prices. It's time to change our education system, an education system that doesn't work for our 27-year-old daughter, who has $100,000 in law school debt, who as a municipal prosecutor earning $12.99 an hour realized that she couldn't pay those student loan debts. Yet, had she become a corporate attorney, she would have received a signing bonus. But it's not just about her. It's about the thousands of other graduates facing staggering tuition debts while President Bush cut $12 billion in federal student loans. It's time to change. And it's also time to remember. It's time to remember what President Kennedy said, that change is the law of life. And those who only look to the present, or even to the past, are certain to miss the future. And it's our future. It's the children that are yet to come. It's our grandchildren. And their future rests with us. So it's time. It's time to ask someone to represent us who has no interest in becoming a full-time professional politician, but rather someone who hopes to use the political process to become a public servant. So today, beginning today, I ask for support to serve as our district's Congresswoman. Thank you. And I welcome your questions.
Why is it time now and not 6 months ago when you could have gone through the primary?
At that time, we had a candidate, and after that candidate dropped out, friends, neighbors, colleagues, peers came to me and asked me if I would consider. It really was a recruitment, if you will. And so why not then and why now? We had a candidate, and then we didn't. And then it was a groundswell of support asking for me to consider. And it was the right thing to do, and it is the right thing to do.